What a incredible year. It is really hard to believe how much has happened in the past year. I was actually talking to Julian and said, I don't know how I can convey in a speech the stature that Docker has achieved in a year. And he said, don't worry about that, just have your speech reflect your physical stature. So, but seriously, this is actually my 5th startup. And I have never been associated with a startup that's had such an incredible team, such an incredible founder, such incredible momentum, such incredible French team, such incredible wine, such incredible customers, even though we're not yet ready for customers, such incredible partners, even though we're not yet ready. So I really think the only thing I can do is say a bunch of thank yous. So I'm going to start by saying thank you to the man standing next to me. Obviously, none of this would be here without you, without your incredible vision, without your belief that by doing Docker you could change the world. And I feel really privileged to be at a company that is changing the world. It is making a huge change. So Solomon, to you. I also want to say thank you to the amazing team of people who work at Docker. It's hard to believe that we're really just 30 people and a turtle. And the turtle codes better than I do, because it's not heavy enough to step on to press the keys yet. But it's just unbelievable how much has been achieved in terms of functionality, in terms of usage, in terms of great tools for the community. And I would go on praising the team, except it's really hard to praise the team that works here without also praising the true team of people who work on Docker, which is now 370 people. Yes. And I've never seen a project that has such incredible support from its contributors and community. So I want to thank people like Tianan, who have been this whole thing come together, and of course beyond those who contribute directly to the code base or to the documentation, we've just been embraced by fantastic partners ranging from Red Hat to IBM to Google to now Intel to startups and Yandex and Baidu and Rackspace. This is hard. And I'm always going to offend somebody. And not to mention, all of the companies that were small and believed in us right from the beginning, like Runnable, or got Sasha from Mailgun here. That's incredible. I then need to thank the people who put together, who've sort of been evangelizing Docker, and I think we now have 70 meetups. Yeah, our biggest up and to the right statistic, other than like inbound inquiries from VCs, has to be the number of meetups that we've been having, which are now in 26 countries, maybe 27? 27 countries? Okay, yeah. Problem with saying the numbers is that they grow every day. Yeah, I mean, so that, I think last week we had one day where we had 10 meetups in one day, 150, so if anywhere you travel around the world, whether you're in like Jakarta or Mumbai or Bangalore or Paris or even like St. Louis, there is a meetup group for you. Even St. Louis. The number of I've never been in a company where you sort of have to say no to large banks who want to deploy you because you're not quite ready. But this has been an incredible year. The next few months are going to be even more incredible. I can't wait to see all of you at DockerCon and see the just amazing, incredible, creative things that everybody in our community is doing and everything that the people in this team are doing. So I will now try and cut it short and give Solomon time to talk, but I want to thank you all again. This is unbelievable, and I feel really privileged to be part of this great community. So, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Always tough to come after Ben. Yeah, it really means a lot to me that everyone here is, together in a room wearing the same T-shirt. It's kind of mind-blowing. Obviously, the metrics are incredible, and the one that blew my mind last week was, hey, do you know today there's 10 different events about Docker around the world at the same time? I thought it was kind of crazy. But yeah, it means a lot that you guys in particular are here. There's lots of layers, I think, of people here that have to do with the making of Docker in various ways, from various angles, various times. And Docker, I mean, a lot of you guys know this, but it's been described for simplicity as a pivot, right? We're doing things and then we stop doing these things and now we're doing something else. But really, Docker is just the nth iteration of just doing the same thing over and over again, trying to do it better. And there are people here who've been involved in making that happen at various stages for a long time now. There is Andrea, who's around, who is part of kind of the original prototype. Sebastian, who's also one of our kind of champions in deploying Docker at Cloudflare, was part of the earlier iterations of using container tech at .cloud for doing awesome things. Proppy, who's now at Google, had to deal with me at school saying, but you don't understand deployment, automation. He was like, yeah, it's so awesome, dude. This is like, what, I don't know, 8 years ago. So there's lots of layers, and it feels like, it took its sweet time, but it's coming together. And yeah, I think we are onto something, or changing, something.
Don't be modest. Change the world. Change the world. Yeah. So yeah.
It's kind of all right.
It's kind of all right. So it does mean a lot, and I was looking at, cruising around and talking to people, and if you've been on the IRC channel recently, it kind of feels like this every day, right? It's kind of like, oh yeah, hey, 700 people, let's hang out. So anyway, running less of a tight ship than you are in my speech, but yeah, I thank you for being here, and I could go on for I think a few hours saying thank you for individual things, but we do have an amazing crew. I do want to point out something that kind of gets overlooked a lot, which is that while we shifted our focus to this new iteration, developed Docker out of components that we had already built on .cloud, presented it in a different way, explained it in a different way, and we're in the right place at the right time and built Docker. I think I'm very proud of the fact that all this time, for a year now, we've been running a business, serving our customers, and everything we've promised to our customers at .cloud, we've delivered and we've continued to deliver. Our customers stuck with us, and I think we can say they're glad they did. I think also we can say the .cloud business, believe it or not, is bigger than it's ever been. It's just growing. And this in spite of the fact that, as we've said, the majority of our resources and focus is on Docker, but there is a crew every day, 24/7, operating, fixing, running, supporting .cloud, and they've done an amazing job. And thanks to them, Jerome, Andy, John, Sam, and supported by a rotation of all the other engineers in the crew on call, we're able to show that you don't have to ditch your customers at the first change of winds. It's possible to kind of stick to what you said you'd do. And it was not necessarily easy. I was not on call, so it was easier for me.
Yeah, you weren't working at all.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I think it's important to acknowledge that. That's something I'm really proud of. So hopefully we can kind of contribute a little bit to shifting that standard towards, hey, customers are important. So just a little something. What else? Yeah, I mean, you've said a lot. Docker's awesome.
No, Docker's kind of okay. I think.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of okay.
And the last thing is, I think we spent a lot of time explaining how we think about the development process of Docker. That we really want it to be more than this project owned by a company, by a small group of people inside a company, and then oh, we're nice, we're giving it to you, you can use it. It should really be owned by a larger group of people, and we actively want to set it up so that we don't have exclusive ownership and control of it. It lives a life of its own, and then as a team, we want to continue to be invested in it, and we're investing a lot of resources. We raised a lot of money to make sure that project can fulfill its potential. But I've said a lot of times that our model is Linux. I think Linux kind of got a lot of things right in terms of, you know, making an open source project successful, and you know, beyond the usual rules of what it means to do open source. I think it's no single company can shut down Linux. No single company can take Linux and make it its own little thing, and no one else can play, right? And you know, we don't want to be an exception to that rule. I think success for us is that we can become a successful business, a high growth business, a business that our investors are really glad they invested in.
They all left, by the way, so you can say whatever you want.
Right. I was noticing that as I said that.
We're just going to blow through the remainder of the 15 million guys.
Yeah. Oh, they're gone. Okay, so part 2 of the evening.
More girls.
Anyway, we can do that without needing to take our toys and go play on our own. So I think I kind of like that concept of we're putting ourselves in a situation of vulnerability in regards to you guys, the community, and that's a good thing. And so I think we're onto something. I think this is good.
All right.